Hello viewers, welcome to Unacademy. Let's crack management exams English. In this session, we'll be looking at a practice exercise on arrangement-based sets in logical reasoning section. That said, very quickly, let me introduce myself. I'm Arjun Prasad, an engineer with 12 plus years of teaching experience, having trained more than 6,000 CAT aspirants in the fields of quantitative aptitude, data interpretation, data sufficiency, and logical reasoning. I've trained more than 4,000 students to crack the campus recruitment exams. That said, before we move on to the topic of being able to solve questions on the arrangement based sets and logical reasoning, let us understand very quickly the importance of reasoning. There are situations and examples which have actually helped me understand the importance of reasoning in a hard way. I'm just going to share a couple of them. Okay. The first one is that at an interview, I was asked a question: for how long have you used the word define? And you know, uh, I was also dumbstruck. And then there was a prompting, and the prompting was at least 5 years. Yes, definitely, I said. And then immediate question was define definition, which means if you look at the sequence of the event, sequence of the way in which the questions have been asked, the interviewer was definitely not trying to check whether I have by hearted the dictionary. Rather, he was trying to check if I have reasoned out things that I have come across and used in life. Is that clear? Therefore, reasoning becomes extremely important, not only for the logical reasoning section, but in general for exams as well as in general in life. Reasoning becomes extremely important. Is that clear? Now, that said, in today's session of arrangements based sets, we'll be looking at linear arrangement based questions, comparisons based questions, circular arrangement based questions, and grid arrangement based questions. These are the four main areas that we'll be focusing on in today's session, right? Before going on with the questions, let us just do a recap and the quick points to note with respect to these four major subtopics of arrangements. Okay? When it comes to linear arrangement, few of the points that we need to know. First thing, it's visualization based. Second, to the extent possible, we need to visualize as if we are facing the back of the people. Because when we face the back of the people, our left coincides with the left of the person, right coincides with the right of the person. So that is why to the extent possible, we need to visualize as if we are facing the back of the people. Okay. And the other thing, we need to be very clear. There is a difference between A is to the left of B and A is to the immediate left of B. We need to be aware of it. A is to left of B means A can be anywhere to the left of B. A is to the immediate left of B means A and B are adjacent to each other, with A being to the left of B. Right? And when I say A is seated 2 places away to the right of B, how many people are seated between A and B? Sometimes people get confused and say there are two people. No, there is only one person. In this case, there is only one person. When I say A is seated 2 places away to the right of B, there is only one person. Always n places away, if a person is seated, n minus 1 people are there between. Is that clear? If comprehending it is difficult, then go by this example. A stays 2 floors above the floor on which B stays. That means what? If B is staying on the first floor, then A is going to stay on the third floor. So how many floors are there between house of A and that of B? There's only one floor that is there. Is that clear? So always remember, A is seated 2 places away means there's only one person between. A stays 2 floors above means there's only one floor between. Is that clear? Now these are the major points that we need to be aware of as far as linear arrangements is concerned. Next, if we go on to comparisons is very similar to linear arrangement, just that there's one additional point. That is nothing but we need to arrange the data in a sorted fashion. So if I say that people are comparing their weights, we need to make them arrange. We need to arrange them in a linear fashion, maybe in the ascending order of their weights. If I say people are comparing their height, we need to arrange them in either the ascending or descending order of their height. That is one additional point that we need to have as far as dealing with comparisons is concerned. Is that clear? The next is nothing but circular arrangements. When it comes to circular arrangements, again, circular arrangement based questions are visualization based questions. Unlike linear arrangement questions, we cannot take a standpoint and visualize, because if I take any standpoint and start visualizing, I will be facing the back of one person, but I will be facing, inevitably, I will be facing face to face with the diametrically opposite sitting person, isn't it? Therefore, whenever dealing with circular arrangement, the best thing to do is to place yourself in the position of the person you are referring to, so that the left and right of the person becomes very clear. Is that clear? If not, then in the next point I will just mention what else can be done if that becomes difficult. Placing yourself in the position, if it is difficult to comprehend, then I can give you another easier way. And also, please understand, unlike linear arrangement, in circular arrangement there is no difference between A is to the left of B and A is to the immediate left of B. Because in linear arrangement, A is to left of B means A can be anywhere to the left of B. If I consider the same thing in circular arrangement, if I say A is to left of B anywhere, because it's a circular arrangement, we end up considering the right of B as well, which is wrong. Therefore, there is no difference between A is to the left of B and A is to the immediate left of B, or A is to the right of B and A is to the immediate right of B in case of circular arrangement. Is that clear? Next, a point which is very similar between both linear as well as circular arrangement. A is seated 2 places away to the right of B. Means how many people are seated between A and B? There is only one person seated between A and B. This does not change. As I mentioned earlier, if we are dealing with place yourself in the position of the person you are referring to, and that becomes little bit difficult, then what we could do, if this is difficult, then what we could do is we can go with this convention and remember this. For a person who sits facing the center of the table, left of the person means go in the clockwise direction, right of the person means go in the anti-clockwise direction. And for a person who sits facing away from the center of the table, left of the person means go anti-clockwise, right of the person means go clockwise. Is that clear? Now, this is something that we need to be aware of. The next thing, when it comes to grid arrangements, let us understand that grid arrangements, even though they seem to be easy, if enough amount of practice is not there, then my strong advice, please understand, if there is not enough amount of practice or homework done, my advice is do not be adventurous in attempting these sets in the exam. I'm not demotivating you, I'm giving you a precursor condition. If you have not done your homework, please let us not become adventurous in the exam and attempt. Because in one of the competitive exams, I've seen that it was a grid of 81 entries, so 9 people and 9 entities, right? What made that even more worse is the names of the people were like Rohit, Roshan, Rohan. Okay, so you cannot symbolize, you will have to write all the names. And the 9 entities were colors: color of shirt, color of trouser, color of tie, color of hair, color of handkerchief, kind of a thing. And to make the matters worse much more, the colors were like royal blue, robin blue, kind of a thing. So if we scribble, we ourselves would not know what we have written after some time. And even if there is a mistake that has been committed, we will never know it. And because of one mistake, the entire set can go wrong. So my sincere advice, please solve enough number of grid arrangement questions, and once you get the knack, then go ahead. And the best way is to solve Sudoku, because grid-wise arrangements are nothing but multi-dimensional thinking. That is what is needed as far as grid arrangements are concerned. We need to be good at multi-dimensional thinking, and it has to be solved systematically. And especially for arrangements and in general for logical reasoning section, if there is one tool that helps us, that is nothing but Sudoku. People who have played Sudoku will know the connect between logical reasoning and Sudoku. Is that clear? Now that said, let us get started with the questions. The first question comes over here. He says, 6 friends, Abhiram, Abram, Akram, Ajiram, Amiram and Anantram are seated in a row, not necessarily in that order. Following information is known. Abram is standing between Anantram and Akram. Anantram, who is seated 2 places away from Abram, is seated at the left end of the row. 2 people are seated between Abhiram and Ajiram. Ajiram is not adjacent to Akram. Now we just have to get the arrangement right, isn't it? Okay. Look at it. How many people? There are 6 people. So I will just write. There are 6 people who are seated in a row. 1. And if nothing is stated, we assume that all of them are facing the same direction. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 people who are seated. Let us say all of them are facing this direction. Or all of them are standing facing this direction. Right? Abram is standing between Anantram and Akram. Okay. Anantram is seated 2 places away from Abram, is seated at the left end of the row. Therefore, Anantram is seated at the left end of the row. Anantram is seated at the left end of the row. Now, this person Anantram is 2 places away from Abram, which means this has to be Abram. Okay. Next, when this is Abram, let us go further. He says, 2 people are seated between Abhiram and Ajiram. If 2 people have to be seated between Abhiram and Ajiram, then these 2 positions, this one and this one, are the only positions which are available with me to write Abhiram and Ajiram. Given that Ajiram is not adjacent to Akram, I cannot write Ajiram over here, because if I write Ajiram over here, then Akram will come in one of these 2 positions. Therefore, I cannot write Ajiram over here, which clearly means that this has to be Ajiram and this will be Abhiram. Is that clear? Now, where should I write Akram? Who are the 2 people? We are left with Akram and Amiram. We are left with these 2. The constraint is that Abram must be between Anantram and Akram. So, Akram can come in any of these 2 positions. So, therefore, here, if this is Akram, then this will be Amiram. Instead, if this is Amiram, then this will be Akram. So, therefore, the final order is Anantram, Ajiram, Abram, Akram or Amiram, Abhiram, Amiram or Akram. Is that clear? Now, the question is, who is seated to the immediate right of Anantram? Who is seated to the immediate right of Anantram? Ajiram is seated to the immediate right of Anantram. Therefore, what is my answer? My answer is answer option C, which is Ajiram is seated to the immediate right of Anantram. Is that clear? Okay. Next, let us look at this set. He says 7 friends, Arjun, Bharat, Chandra, Dinesh, Ishwar, Panishwar and Gajanan are seated in a row, not necessarily in the same order. Following information is known. Number of people sitting to the left of Bharat is equal to the number of people sitting to the right of Dinesh. Okay, first thing, there are 7 people. Let me just write the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 7 people. Let me start writing down the constraints. Number of people sitting to the left of Bharat, okay, is equal to the number of people sitting to the right of Dinesh. Okay, so this is one constraint. Then Arjun sits exactly between Chandra and Ishwar. That is, if this is Chandra or Ishwar, if there are X number of people and Arjun, then there will be X number of people and Ishwar or Chandra. This is my second constraint. Next, Dinesh sits third to the left of Chandra. Dinesh sits third to the left of Chandra. Bharat sits 2 places away from Panishwar, who is at one of the ends. Clearly, he says that Panishwar is at one of the ends, isn't it? Given that Panishwar is at one of the ends, let me consider that Panishwar sits over here. Then what happens? Bharat is 2 places away, so this will be Bharat. And if this is Bharat, to the left of Bharat there are 2 people, so to the right of Dinesh there have to be 2 people. That means this has to be Dinesh, isn't it? The moment I write this as Dinesh, do I have any place for me to write Chandra? No, it is impossible. I do not have a position with me to write Chandra at all. Is that clear? Therefore, our assumption that Phanishwar sits at the left end is a wrong assumption, which means this is wrong. This goes away. This also goes away. Now, if we start to think, let us say this is Phanishwar, then where will Bharat sit? Bharat sits 2 places away from Phanishwar. So, this is Bharat. So, how many are to the left of Bharat? 4. So, how many to the right of Dinesh? 4 people to the right of Dinesh. Okay. Now, where should Chandra sit? Chandra has to sit over here. This is Chandra. Is that clear? Now, when I write Chandra over here, leave this one position, this will be Arjun. Leave this one position, this will be Ishwar. Now, who is the person who is left out? Gajanan. So, where will Gajanan come? Gajanan will sit over here. So, therefore, this is the order in which the people are seated. Gajanan, Ishwar, Dinesh, Arjun, Bharat, Chandra, Phanishwar. Is that clear? With that, let us look at the questions. Who sits at the left end of the row? Gajanan sits at the left end of the row. Sits at the left end. Gajanan sits at the left end. Who sits to the immediate right of Chandra? Who sits to the immediate right of Chandra? Phanishwar. How many persons are sitting between Ishwar and Chandra? Between Ishwar and Chandra, there are 3 people who are sitting. Is that clear? Understood? Next, let us look at another set. Here, he says 5 girls, Anita, Bhuvana, Charulata, Dharti and Elena sit in a row, while 5 boys, Amar, Bhuvan, Chandra, Dinesh and Ishwar sit in another row, not necessarily in the same order. Each boy is facing a girl. Okay, let us just come up with the outline. 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 5 girls. Let us say this is the row of girls, and there are 5 boys. So, this is the row of boys. We have to be very clear over here that when I am dealing with respect to boys, my left is the boy's right and my right is the boy's left. For girls, the left is coinciding with the left, right coincides with the right. Is that clear? Okay. Now, this is what now let us start writing down the constraints. Let us start writing down the constraints. Only 2 girls are sitting between Bhuvana and Charulata. Charulata does not sit at any end. Sit at any end. Next, number of persons to the left of Dinesh is equal to the number of persons to the right of Ishwar. To the left of Dinesh, if there are X number of people, to the right of Ishwar, there are X number of people. To the left of Dinesh and to the right of Ishwar, the same number of people are there. Okay. Next, Ishwar sits opposite to Anita. Anita, who is adjacent to Charulata. It will either be this or it will be this. Chandra sits second to the right of the person who sits opposite Elena. Okay. So I'm just going to write the constraint over here on top of this. Chandra sits second to the right of the person who sits opposite Elena. Let us say Elena sits here. Chandra sits second to the right of this person. So C dash 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 E. So basically this is, and then he says Dharti does not sit opposite to Amar. Dharti does not sit opposite to Amar. Just writing that as Dharti does not sit opposite to Amar. Okay. Now we have to fill this entire grid such that these constraints are met. Charulata cannot come over here. What happens if I write Charulata over here? If I write Charulata over here, leave out these two positions, then you have Bharat coming over here. Or who is that? B. Bhuvana is sitting over here. That clear? Then the moment I write C over here, I have to write A, and opposite to A, I have to write E. If I write A over here and E over here, what actually happens? What happens if I write A over here and if I write E over here? The moment I write E over here, I'll be forced to write D over here. Okay. And because of this constraint C dash 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 E, it has to then be C dash 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 E. Good. These constraints are all met. So this constraint is met. A is not opposite to D. Therefore, where should A come? A has to come over here. Then what will come over here? This will be B. So what will come over here? It will be D. Now all the constraints have been met. But that was just by assuming that C sits over here. Is that clear? This is one order. What happens instead if I make, instead, we'll come back to this order, but instead, let me just, take the next sheet because I have some amount of space. So let me just write that down very quickly. So suppose I consider the constraints I'm going to write. This is constraint number 1. This is constraint number 2. Constraint number 3. Constraint number 4. Any other constraint? And then we have C cannot come here. It has to either be B dash dash C or C dash dash B. We have already considered, by considering C over here, we have got the order. Instead of taking C over here, can I write C over here? No, not possible. What happens if I write C over here? Okay. If I write C over here, then I will be forced to write B over here. Okay. Then opposite to E, I have to write A, and A has to come next to C. Can I write A over here? No. If I write A over here, then this will be E, and to this side of E, if there are two people, to this side of D, two people, that means this position has to be occupied by two people, E and D. Not possible. Therefore, this has to be A, and this will be E. When this is E, this will automatically become D. Now, where will I get this constraint C dash 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 E? It is not possible at all. It is impossible to get it. Therefore, this is not possible, which means the correct order is nothing but this one only. So, this is my correct order. Is that clear? Given this, the question asked, who sits exactly in the middle of a row of boys? Middle of the row of boys, who is sitting? Bhuvan is sitting. Middle of the row of boys, Bhuvan is sitting. Next, who sits third to the left of Bhuvan? Please understand, who sits third to the left of Bhuvan? See, Bhuvan is here. First, second, third, nobody. No one. None. None of them sits. Nobody sits. Who are seated adjacent to Dharti? Who are seated adjacent to Dharti? Adjacent to Dharti are nothing but Charulata and Elena. Charulata and Elena are seated adjacent to Dharti. Is that clear? Next, let us move on to the next set. He says there are 5 people P, Q, R, S and T who are comparing their heights. Each of them is of different height. Further, Q is taller than S. Q is taller than S. S who in turn is taller than R. S who in turn is taller than R. But shorter than T. Please understand, S is less than T can be written as T is greater than S. And always remember to maintain the same order as far as the comparison is concerned, because then what happens, we can use the transitiveness and then reduce the number of conditions. When he says S is shorter than T, instead of writing S is less than T, I would rather write it as T is greater than S. Okay. T who is taller than P, okay, T is taller than P, but shorter than Q. T is less than Q is same as Q is greater than T, isn't it? Now, we can combine, at least we can combine a few of them. Instead of considering all these 3, we can combine it as Q is greater than T is greater than S is greater than R, and at the same time T is greater than P. Can I combine this further? No. There is no data point for me to be able to combine these two further. Is that clear? Now I'll go with the questions. Who is the tallest? See, if I consider this, then Q. If I consider this, then T. But Q is taller than T itself. Therefore, who is the tallest? Q is the tallest. Who among the following, that means among the answer options, who among the following can be the shortest? See, just from here I can say there are only 2 people who stand a chance to be the shortest. It is R or P. Among the answer options, among the following, who is it? It is P. Therefore, That is why he has not asked the question who is the shortest. That cannot be determined. But who can be the shortest? Either P or R. Among the answer options, it is P. Next, what is the maximum possible number of persons who are taller than P? What is the maximum possible number of persons who are taller than P? That means I need to put P to as much right as possible. For my convenience for this question, I will put P over here. If I put P over here, then all the other four, that is Q, T, S and R, will be taller than P. So that is the maximum number of people. What is the maximum number of people? It is 4. Maximum number of people is 4. 4 of them are taller than P. Is that clear? Now, let us proceed to another set. The set number 4. He says 5 friends A, B, C, D and E are comparing their weight, age and height. And in each of these 3 categories, they are ranked in the decreasing order in that category. The person who is heaviest is ranked 1 in weight. The oldest is ranked 1 in age. And the tallest is ranked 1 in height. The person who is lightest is ranked 5 in weight. Youngest is ranked 5 in age. And the shortest is ranked 5 in height. No two of them are of same weight, age or height. No person got the same rank in any 2 categories. No person got the same rank in any 2 categories. Further, it is known that person who got 5th rank in height got 3rd rank in age. E did not get 3rd rank in any category. A is older than C but younger than B. Neither A nor E got 1st rank in any category. Neither B nor D got 5th rank in any category. B is lighter than C but heavier than A. B is shorter than C but taller than A. And D, person who got 1st rank in weight got 3rd rank in height. So these many constraints are there. Let us see how we can solve it. I have just drawn a grid. So to make it more clearer, I will use black ink. Person. Let me put the rank in terms of, I'll put age over here, weight, height. Who are the 5 people? A, B, C, D, E. When he says no 2 persons are of same age, same weight or same height, it means in each of these 3 columns, I need to have the digits 1 to 5, the rank. A person who is older is numerically ranked lower. That means oldest person is ranked 1, youngest is ranked 5. Similarly for weight, the heaviest is ranked 1, heavier, numerically lower. Taller, numerically lower in terms of the value that comes in for the rank. Is that clear? And also he says that a person did not get the same rank in any 2 categories, which means row wise there can be no repetition of number, which clearly means that this is very similar to a Sudoku, wherein it's just like a 5 by 3 Sudoku. Column wise 1 to 5, row wise any 3 digits, but no repetition row wise. This constraint are there. That said, let us see what else does he give. Person who got 5th rank in height got 3rd rank in age. 5th rank in height got 3rd rank in age. Wherever I write 5 in this column, I have to write 3 in this column. Then, E did not get third rank in any category. In this entire row, I cannot write E never got third rank in any category. Next. A is older than C. A is older than C. That means in terms of age, A is older than C. That means numerically ranked lesser. So A is older than C means in this column, whatever value that I write for C, the value that I write in this cell has to be less than C. Older than C, but younger than B. Therefore, younger than B. Therefore, this value that the number that I write has to be greater than the corresponding value that I write for B. Next, neither A nor E got first rank in any category. Neither A nor E got the first rank in any category. Means one cannot come here and one cannot come here in this entire, in the two rows. Neither B nor D got fifth rank in any category. Here 5 cannot come in this entire row. 5 cannot come in this entire row. B is lighter than C but heavier than A. B is lighter than C, heavier than A, less than A. B is shorter than C. But taller than A and D. Okay. Person who got first rank in weight got third rank in height. In this column, if I write 1, then the corresponding entry in this column has to be 3. Is that clear? Now, the task is very simple. We just have to fill up this entire grid such that the constraints are met. Where would we start? How would we go about it? Always look at a place where maximum amount of constraint is given. If you look at a place where a maximum amount of constraint is there, then the chances of narrowing down and getting the value becomes little bit more easier. Just come to the case where you are going to write the rank of height for B. B's rank in terms of height. If we are looking at it, clearly I know that 5 cannot come over here. Okay. Because it has to be, this number has to be less than at least two of the other two numbers. Anyway, 5 is the maximum, 5 cannot come. For the same reason, because it has to be less than at least two numbers, so 4 also cannot come. So we know 5 cannot come, 4 cannot come. I cannot write 1 as well, because if I write 1, then for C it has to be 0, rank has to be 0, because this 1 has to be greater than something, that means that something has to be 0 then. So not possible. So 1 is not possible, 5 is not possible, 4 is not possible, 1, 4, 5 are not possible. What am I left with? I am left with 2 and 3. What happens if I write 3? The moment I write 3 over here, then in this cell I will be forced to write 1. And if I write 1 over here, then in this cell I will be forced to write 0, which is not possible. Because 0 is not possible here, 1 is not possible here. Because 1 is not possible here, 3 is not possible here. Which means 1, 3, 4 and 5 are not possible, which clearly means by the Sherlock Holmes theory, the last possibility has to be certain if all the other possibilities have been eliminated. Therefore, this is rank number 2. Okay. Once I write this as rank number 2, 2 is greater than something. That something has to be what? 1 only. Therefore, in this cell, it will be 1. We wrote 1 and 2. Okay. Next, I should, if you come over here, 1 cannot come in this cell. 1 cannot come. 2 cannot come, 3 cannot come. I am left with 4 and 5. In this cell, I am left with 4 and 5. If I write 5 over here, then I'll be forced to write 3 over here, which is not possible. If I write 5 over here, then I'll be forced to write 3 over here, which is not possible. Therefore, here I cannot write 5. 1, 2, 3, 5 not possible means this has to be 4 only. And when this is 4, I am now left with what? 3 and 5. I cannot write 5 here, therefore this has to be 3, which means this has to be 5. The moment I write 5 over here, the corresponding entry over here becomes 3. Moment I have written 3 over here, the corresponding entry over here becomes 1. Clear? Okay. Next, let us come to the column of weight. In the column of weight, for B, it has to be less than A, okay, and it has to be greater than C. Okay. Because it has to be less than A, I cannot write 5. That is already known. 5 cannot come. It has to be greater than C. Therefore, I cannot write 1 also. 1 cannot come, 5 cannot come. Okay. What happens if I write 2? If I write 2 over here, then for C I will have to write 1, which is not possible. So 2 also cannot come. 1, 2, 5 eliminated. What are the other 2 values? 3 and 4. 3 and 4. These are the only 2 values that I am left with. I am only left with 3 and 4. Out of 3 and 4, what should I write? See, if I write 4 over here, maybe something is possible. But if I write 3 over here, 3 must be less than A. That means for A, it has to be either 4 or 5. 5 cannot come. So 4 is possible. Okay, so therefore I can write 3. If I write 2 is not possible, 1 is not possible, 5 is not possible. So if I write 4 instead, if I write 4 over here, then that 4 has to be less than A, then I'll be forced to write 5 over here. Therefore 4 is also not possible. 1, 2, 5 and 4 are not possible, which clearly means that this has to be 3 only. And when this is 3, 3 must be less than something. 3 is less than 4 and 5. 5 cannot come over here, therefore this has to be 4 only. Once I have written 3 and 4 and 1, I am left with what? I am left with 2 and 5. But this 3 has to be greater than what I write for C. So 3 is greater than only 1 and 2. 1 cannot come over here, therefore this has to be 2, which automatically means that this value will have to be 5. Understood? Next, come on to the column of age. If you look at for E, 1 cannot come, 3 cannot come, 4 cannot come, 5 cannot come, therefore this will be 2. Okay. Next, come for D, come to D. 1 cannot come, 3 cannot come, 2 cannot come, 5 cannot come, therefore this will be 4. Next, come for B. You will see that 5, 2, 3, 4 are not possible, therefore this will be 1. Therefore for C it will be 5. Now we have the ranks of every person in terms of age, weight and height as well. We can go ahead with the questions now. What is the question? Who among A, B, D and E did not get 4th rank in any category? A got 4th rank, B did not get, D got, E got. Among A, B, D and E, who did not get the 4th rank? B did not get the 4th rank. Therefore my answer is B. Who is the lightest person? Who is the lightest person? That means I have to go and consider the case of weight. Lightest means rank 5. Who got the 5th rank in weight? It is E who got the 5th rank in weight. Therefore, who is the lightest person? E is the lightest person. Next, who is the second tallest? That means who got the second rank in terms of height? It is B who got the second rank in terms of height. Therefore, who is the second tallest? B is the second tallest. Is that clear? Next, let us look at this one, wherein he says there are 8 friends P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W who are seated around a circular table, not necessarily in that order. Each of them likes a different color among violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red and black. Following information is known. Q sits second to the right of the person who likes black. 3 persons sit between S and the person who likes blue. Blue who is not adjacent to Q. W sits 3 places away from the person who likes black and he does not like red. Person who likes red is adjacent to Q and the person who likes violet. P sits 3 places away from the person who likes black. Person who likes orange and R are adjacent to each other. T sits opposite to the person who likes indigo. R likes neither black nor green. Okay, constraints have been given. Let us see how we go about solving it. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 people. Q sits second to the right of the person who likes black. Q sits second to the right of the person who likes black. Okay, or to make it more clearer, I'll write Q over here. Let me start writing the names in the inner circle and the color outside. Okay. Fine. Once we have written this much, next statement, 3 persons sit between S and the person who likes blue. That means S and blue are opposite to each other. S and blue are opposite to each other. Many possibilities are there. But blue is not adjacent to Q. Okay, blue is not adjacent to Q. That means this cannot be blue, this cannot be blue. Okay. Still, I am left with at least 2 possibilities, so I would not go ahead and write it. W sits 3 places away from the person who likes black. 3 places away from black means W can sit here to the right of Q, or W can sit over here on either side. And he says W does not like red. W does not like red. Okay. W sits in one of these 2 places and W does not like red. Fine. Person who likes red is adjacent to Q and the person who likes violet. So it has to be Q, red, violet. Q is already there. I cannot take this direction for red and violet because this is already filled with black. Therefore, this has to be red. The moment this is red, this cannot be W. So this will be violet. Because this cannot be W, then automatically this becomes W. Okay. So this much is done. Okay. P sits 3 places away from the person who likes black. Okay. P sits 3 places away from the person who likes black. It can either be this side or this side, but this side it's already occupied, therefore it has to be this. So this is P. P sits 3 places away from the person who likes black. Okay. Person who likes orange and R are adjacent to each other. T sits opposite to the person who likes indigo. Okay. I have to have S and blue. At the same time, I have to have T and indigo. S and blue, T and indigo. See, this diametrically opposite pair is not possible. Violet, black, that is not possible. The other diametrically opposite one, which is having P, is also not possible because it's already P and red. So that's also not possible. So two of them are gone. Which means if I have to write yes, that yes has to come next to Q or yes has to come next to W. But yes cannot come next to W because if I write yes next to W, then opposite to yes has to be blue. But blue, okay, adjacent to Q, it is blue is not adjacent to Q, but blue can be Q itself. So, okay, so that is one possibility. The other possibility is that I write yes next to black and blue is for W. So, I am left with two possibilities. With other constraints, can we consider something else that can be filled in? Okay. If I consider this as yes, then this will be blue, because otherwise I cannot write this to be blue, therefore I am writing this as blue. Then T and person who likes indigo are opposite to each other. This will be T, that means this will be indigo. R does not like black. Okay, R like neither black nor green. Okay, P, Q, S, T, W are done. R and V are the two people. R and V are the two people. I am left with. Person who likes orange and R are adjacent to each other. That means this cannot be R. The violet cannot be R. The person who likes orange and R are adjacent to each other. Which means if I write R for black, then S will be orange. But R cannot be liking black. So therefore I cannot write R over there. Therefore R has to be this one only, next to T. Okay. The moment this is R, T will like orange. Okay. PQS RTW. What else am I left with? U and V I am left with. I don't have any constraint. But for colors, I know that R does not like black, R does not like green. Therefore, because R does not like green, it has to be S who likes green. Violet, indigo, blue, green. Therefore, R will like yellow. Between violet and black, if this is U, then this is V. Instead, if this is V, then this is U. Is that clear? Now that we have got the entire grid, we can start solving, but just to write it once again in a more clear way, the arrangement that we have got is as follows. Violet, red, indigo, green. Violet, red, indigo, green, black, blue, orange, yellow. People are PQS RTW. P Q S R T W. This is U or V, and this will be V or U. Now the question, who sits opposite to U? One of your answer options cannot be determined. Please do not mark that. U and V are sitting in these two positions. Yes, there are two possibilities. I completely agree. However, in both the possibilities opposite to U, it will be V only. Therefore, my answer, who sits opposite to U? It is V. Who sits second to the right of the person who likes yellow? Second to the right of the person who likes yellow is yes. If V likes violet, then who likes black? U likes black. That's all. As simple as that. Is that clear? Next, let us look at another set. It says 8 friends A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H sit around a rectangular table, not necessarily in that order. 3 persons sit along each of the long edge. One person each along the shorter edge. Neither B nor D sits along longer edge, which means B and D have to sit along the shorter edge only. So because I'm starting on a clean slate, I can write B over here, I can write D over here. Then he says what? A sits third to the left of G. A sits third to the left of G, but not adjacent to either B or C. H sits opposite to F, but not adjacent to A. E sits adjacent to neither G nor D. Okay. E cannot come here, E cannot come here. A cannot come here, A cannot come here. That's the constraint. And A sits third to the left of G. I'm going by a possibility. If I write G over here, third to the left first, second, third to the left of G is A. Therefore, this will be A. And given that H and F are opposite to each other, it has to be this pair only. And H is not adjacent to A, therefore this has to be H, which means that this will become F. E sits adjacent to neither G nor D, therefore E cannot come over here, therefore this will be E, which means I'm left with C, therefore C will come over here. This is one possibility. Look at, is there any other possibility as well? Position of B and D are fixed. So this is B, this is D. So we have 3 people, and opposite sitting we have 3 people, right? Now given this, I have already considered G to be sitting over here. What happens if G sits over here? 1, 2, 3, here A, not possible. So G cannot come here. Can I write G over here? If I write G over here, then A has to come here. B has occupied this. So therefore G cannot come over here. What happens if I write a G over here? This will be A. Given that F and H have to be opposite to each other, this cannot be H. Therefore this will be F. Then this will be H. Okay. Next. Whichever way I take, E will be adjacent to either G or D only. E will be adjacent to either G or D. Therefore, this arrangement that I have written is not possible. So, we have already considered up to this point. Next is I am left with only by considering G over here and G over here. Let us see what happens. If I take, let me erase this part because this is not a possible order. So, I will erase this one, this one, this one and this one. What if I consider G over here? If I consider G over here, then this will be A. These two positions can either be F or H. This is F, this is H. Instead, if this is H, this is F. Isn't it? E cannot come over here, therefore E will come over here. Which means this will be C. Instead, can I write G over here? If I write G over here, this has to be A, which is not possible. Therefore, these are the only three possible ways in which the people can be seated. There are three possible ways in which people can be seated, and that's what this is. Now the question, what is the position of F with respect to D? Position of F with respect to D. It can either be immediate right, it can be third to the left, it can be third to the right. Is that clear? H sits opposite to F, H is not adjacent to A. E sits adjacent to neither G nor D. Absolutely. Okay. So, therefore, the answer is cannot be determined. There are many possibilities. Who sits opposite to C? Who sits opposite to C? Opposite to C. See, I may have three possibilities, but in each of these three possibilities opposite to C, it is A. Therefore, who sits opposite to C? It is A who sits opposite to C. How many people sit between D and E when counted from left of D? When counted from left of D, how many people sit between D and E when counted from left of D? Between D and E. If I count from left of D, in this case there will be 4 people. In this case there will be only 1. Therefore, it can either be 1 or 4. Again, the answer would be cannot be determined. Why is it important? Why did I give this question given that many of the answer options are cannot be determined? The reason is many a times what happens is once we take up one particular possibility, we just end up over there. We think that okay, that is fine. But no, we have to go and check, are there any other possibilities which are holding good, where all the constraints hold good and we still get another possibility. We have to check. Otherwise, the answers may go wrong. Is that clear? You may take a little bit longer, but please understand the number of questions for every set will be at least about 4 questions. So when you have 4 questions, you can afford 8 minutes for that entire set, which means 7 minutes out of those 8 minutes can be spent in order to get the order right, and that 1 minute is more than enough to get the answers for the questions. Is that clear? So please do not solve these type of questions in hurry and then mark something as your answer. Chances are that you may end up getting negative marks. So please do not do that. Is that clear? Okay. That said, the next set is as follows, wherein he says Each of 5 cousins, Vinay, Arjun, Rohit, Roshan, and Reshma, buys a different book the book among A, B, C, D, and E. That is, in this column, it has to be A, B, C, D, and this is nothing but book. From a different shop among P, Q, R, S, and T. So, in this column, P, Q, R, S, T. This is shop. From a different school among V, W, X, Y, and Z. V, W, X, Y, and Z. School. Okay. Now, following information is known. Rohit buys A from Q and is from Y. A from Q and is from Y. Sorry, it is Rohit. Extremely sorry, sir. Why do I commit this mistake? A, Q, Y. This is done. Next. Roshan buys E but is not from Z. R does not sell books B or E. If I write B, this cannot be R. If I write E, this cannot be R. That clearly means this cannot be R. Person who bought B is not from X. Another constraint, if I write it over here, this is B is not from X. Either Vinay or Arjun is from V. Either this or this is V. One of these two is V. Person who bought from T is from Z. Okay. Next, another constraint. If this is T, then this will be Z. Person who bought from T bought it from Z. From Z. But it is not Arjun. So, therefore, this cannot be T. This cannot be Z. Reshma did not buy from C. Okay, did not buy C. So, this cannot be C. But is from X. Therefore, this is X. Person from X bought from S. So, therefore, this is S. So, this much is known to us. We just have to fill the grid such that the constraints are met. Now, come to the column of school. I have to write Z somewhere. It cannot be Reshma, it cannot be Roshan, it cannot be Rohit, it cannot be Arjun, which clearly means that it has to be Vinay. So, Vinay is from Z. Is that clear? Which then automatically means that Arjun is from V, which means Roshan is from W. Is that clear? The moment I write Z, I can write T. So let me erase the constraint so that we make it a little bit more clear. T is, sorry, Z goes away, that is not X. So this one I erase by mistake. This is not X. Okay. So clearly it means that come to the column of book. For Reshma, it cannot be A, it cannot be E, it cannot be C, it cannot be B. That means it has to be D only. Now I can erase that constraint as well. Okay. I can also erase the constraint B not being from X. So that's anyway done. I can remove this constraint of this is not this is not this is this much. This is not T, of course this is not T. That also can be removed. So this much is known. Now T, Q, yes, already done. I have to write R. Where will I write R in that particular column? R cannot come here, therefore this will be R, which means this will be P. Clear? Now I have to write B in the column for book. I have to write B in the column for book. I cannot write B for Arjun, therefore it will be Vinay, will be B. Why I cannot write B? Because this will be R. A, B, therefore this will be C. Now we have the entire order right. We can answer the questions. There is a not needed. Okay. Let us move ahead with the question. Who bought book B? The book B was bought by Vinay. Who bought book B? Vinay bought book B. From which shop was book E bought? Book E was bought from which shop? Rosh. From which shop? P. At which school is Arjun studying? At which school is Arjun studying? Arjun is studying at school B. That's it. It's as simple as that. Is that clear? Let me move on with another set. So it says over here that it was selection season at a cricket coaching academy. 3 franchisees X, Y, and Z went to the academy to select players. Each of these franchisees selects players under a category among batting, bowling, and fielding. Altogether, these 3 franchisees selected 7 players A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Further, it is known that each of these 7 selected players were selected by only one of those 3 franchisees under only one category. Each franchisee selected at least 2 of these 7 players. At least 2 players were selected too under each category among batting, bowling, and fielding. A was selected by franchisee X but not under bowling category. Y selected 3 players and none of them selected by X were selected under fielding category. F and G were selected in fielding category. B and F were selected by the same franchisee. B was not selected under batting. D and E were selected under same category. B and E were selected under different category by different franchisees. No 2 players selected by the same franchisee are in same category. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. This is franchisee, which is X, Y, Z. Each of them have to select at least 2, and there is a statement which says Y selected 3, which means Y has selected 3 times. That means X occurs 2 times, Z occurs 2 times. Category: batting, bowling, fielding. Each one is greater than or equal to 2. Each one occurs at least 2 times. And on top of it, he says that this combination, whatever entry that I make, this combination is a unique one. That means no repetition allowed. It's unique. A was selected by franchisee X. But not under bowling. But not under bowling. Y selected 3 players. None of them selected by X were selected under fielding category. It is X and fielding can never come together. X, wherever I write X, I cannot have fielding. See, I have written X over here. It cannot be bowling has been written. It cannot be fielding as well. Therefore, this has to be batting only. No other choice. Next. F and G were selected in fielding category. F and G were selected in the fielding category. B and F were selected by the same franchisee. B and F were selected by the same franchisee. B was not selected under batting. D and E were selected under same category. B and D were selected under different category. B and E were selected under different category. And B and E were selected under different category by a different franchisee. For different category, different franchise. Okay, this much is known. Now we have to fill up this grid such that these constraints are all met. Okay. Now if we come to this part, X and batting is already done. So nowhere else X and batting can occur again. Okay. And at the same time, I cannot write X for B, because if I write X for B, then I will be forced to write X for F as well. But that cannot happen. Isn't it? Fine. Then, if we observe more carefully, we see that the F and G, since both of them are having F, one of them must be with Y. One of them must be with Y. Therefore, very clearly, given that one of them has to be with Y and Y has to occur 3 times, It means that if this is Y, then this will also be Y. YF is already done. So it has to be Y batting or Y and bowling. Y and batting cannot occur over here. Therefore, this has to be bowling. Okay. Just done. Y bowling, Y fielding is done. Y batting is what is left out yet. Okay. After this, for D and D, I cannot write fielding. For sure, I cannot write fielding because if D and D are fielding, then 4 entries become fielding. So I cannot write fielding. I can either write batting or I can write bowling. If I write batting, what actually happens? X cannot come over here as well. Look at G. For G, the G was not selected by Y. Why? Because YF combination is already done. So I cannot write YF again. XF cannot come. Therefore, Y cannot come, X cannot come means this has to be Z only. Is that clear? So Z and F is already done. Okay. So this much is written. Now coming back to the column of the category. Fielding cannot come for D and E. It can either be batting or bowling. If I write bowling, what happens? And if I write batting, what happens? Before even writing, we just have to think what might actually transpire over here. Is that clear? Given that for D, whatever I write as the category has to be different from bowling, so bowling cannot come, fielding cannot come. Therefore, it has to be batting only. That means clearly this is batting. This is also batting. And since batting has already occurred 3 times, this has to be bowling. Is that clear? Once we have got this, at least we have met the constraint that this is dot, dot, star, no batting. So this much is already done. Now what I can do, I can remove those constraints because I am already done with them. Oh. Now, coming back to the column of franchisee, filling it up. See, Y fielding is done, Y bowling is done. So I have to write Y and batting. I cannot write Y for E because that entry has to be different from Y. So I cannot write Y. But then I am only left with one place where I can write Y and batting. So that is all done. So the quota for Y is already done. See, X and batting is already done. The remaining has to be X and bowling only because X and fielding not possible. So it has to be X and bowling only. So therefore this has to be X and bowling, which clearly means that this one has to be Z and batting only. Is that clear? Now that we have already got the entire order, we can answer the questions very easily. Look at the questions. E was selected by which franchisee? E was selected by which franchisee? Z. E was selected by the franchisee Z. Among these, which is the correct group of people selected by the franchisee Y? It is B, D and F. B, D and F. Who among the following was selected by Z? Selected by Z were E and G. Who was selected by Z? E and G. Among the following, it is G. Therefore, G is the correct answer. Is that clear? Understood? Next, let us move on to another set. It says, Murthy's family is a big one. He has 7 children, A, B, C, D, E, F and G. Mr. Murthy built a 7-storied apartment with ground floor called first, the first floor above called second, the floor above called second, and so on. He then gifted this to his children. Each of his children now lives on a different floor. Each among A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H like a different color among violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Hence, they painted their respective houses with their favorite color. Further, it is known that the person who likes green color lives immediately below E's floor. F lives on an even numbered floor and he likes indigo. There are equal number of floor above and below A's floor. The person who likes indigo is neither on the 6th floor nor on floor adjacent to B's floor. G lives on a floor which is 3 floors above the yellow floor. D lives on a floor which is immediately below A's floor and he likes red. Neither C nor G likes orange. Person who likes blue lives on a floor which is below B's floor. Floor, person, color. First floor, second, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, this is what we know. Anything? There are equal number of floor above and there is an equal number of floor above and below A's floor. Therefore, A lives on this floor. Therefore, A lives on this. Okay. Then what else? F lives on even numbered floor. See, F lives on even numbered floor and likes indigo. That means even numbered floor are 2, 4 and 6. F lives on either second floor or the 6th floor. But then he says, person who likes indigo is neither on the 6th floor. Person who likes indigo is not on 6th floor. F likes indigo. F even number F and indigo, but it is not 6 and it cannot be 4. Therefore, it has to be 2 only. Therefore, 2 F indigo. This much we know. Next. So, we know for sure that the person who likes indigo is neither on 6th floor nor on floor adjacent to B's floor. Therefore, on 1 and 3, I cannot have B. That point I need to keep in mind. On 1 and 3, I cannot have B. Okay. G lives on a floor which is 3 floors above the yellow floor. Okay. D lives on a floor which is immediately below A's floor and he likes red. D lives immediately below A's floor. He likes red. Given that G lives on a floor which is 3 floors above the yellow floor, it cannot be, floor 1 cannot be yellow, because if floor 1 is yellow, then floor 4 has to be G. Not possible. 5 and 6, 5, 6 and 7 are ruled out. 3 and 2 are again ruled out. So it cannot be 1, it cannot be 2, it cannot be 3, it cannot be 5, it cannot be 6, it cannot be 7, which automatically means it has to be 4 only, Sherlock Holmes theory. Therefore, this has to be yellow. And when that is yellow, G lives on a floor which is 3 floors above. Therefore, over here, this will be G. Okay. Then, what else? Person who likes blue lives on a floor which is below B's floor. Okay. Likes blue lives on a floor which is below B's floor. Yeah, B can be on 6 and 5 can be blue, or 1 can be blue. Okay. Anything else that can be sought after? Neither C nor G likes orange. Okay. Person who likes green color lives immediately below E's floor. Person who likes green color lives immediately below E's floor, which automatically means this has to be E. This has to be green. Then I have to write B and I have to write also blue. He says blue is below. He says blue is below green. B's floor, isn't it? He says person who likes blue lives on a floor which is below B's floor. He does not say immediately. He does not say immediately below. He just says below. Therefore, this is B and this will automatically be blue. Who is the person whom I have left out? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yes. Next, neither C nor G likes orange. G does not like orange. Therefore, it has to be E who likes orange. Which is the color left out? Violet. So this is violet. This set was solved just to showcase that we can solve the set without doing any scratch work. Absolutely no scratching. No scratch work needed. Just the way we read the statements, the order in which we read the statements becomes more important. Is that clear? That said, now the question, who likes yellow? A likes yellow. Which of the following is true? B lives on an even numbered floor. No. G does not live on the top floor. Wrong. D likes indigo. Wrong. A and E do not live on adjacent floors. Yes, A and E do not live on adjacent floors. Therefore, the correct answer is answer option D. A and E do not live on adjacent floors. Is that clear? Friends, the next session, I hope you enjoyed this. The next session will be on percentages, profit and loss, partnerships, stocks and shares, arrangement based sets in logical reasoning. It will be tomorrow, that is 14th June, 8 a.m. onwards. It will be on the Unacademy YouTube channel, Let's Crack Management Exams English. The link is given over here. Is that clear? Please do like, share and subscribe if you liked it. And when you are subscribing, do not forget to use the code APUS. What do you get by subscribing? When you subscribe, you get access to the daily live classes. You get access to the daily live classes where you can chat with your educator, engage in the discussion, ask your doubts, you can answer the polls, you can answer the live tests and quizzes. The course is delivered in a very structured way, and with just one subscription, you have unlimited access to all the educators. You will have access to the live classes on the Unacademy platform. You will have access to the batch classes on the Unacademy platform, and you can choose a schedule that works for you. This is very, very crucial. Language is not a barrier. You can learn anytime, anywhere. Again, another added advantage. You can interact with educator, get your doubts cleared. So it is getting the best of both the worlds, wherein you get to interact with educator as if it's a classroom way of teaching, even though you get a benefit of an online mode wherein you can schedule at your convenience, and you can learn anywhere, anytime. You can answer the live polls, live tests, quizzes, and a detailed report and analysis will be provided for every test that you attempt on the Unacademy platform. You will have access to all the PDFs and the learning material. All of this comes at a very reasonable subscription fee of just rupees 788 rupees per month for 24 months at a no cost EMI. 788 rupees per month, less than 800 rupees per month, guys. Compare that with, if you just take 1 month subscription, you will have to pay 3,150 rupees. So taking a 24-month subscription is a value for money. It's a good investment because the returns are much higher. Okay. Whether you take 1 month subscription or you take 24-month subscription, the return is almost very similar. But the return on the investment will be very high if you take a 24-month subscription. So my recommendation, I'm not discouraging or demotivating people who are planning to take up CAT exam this year. Even if you are planning to do that, I would urge you to go ahead with a 24-month subscription. Because let us say you take a 6-month subscription, you are anyway paying 2,100 rupees per month for 6 months, which would be 12,600. You just add another 6,000 rupees and you get entire 24 months subscription, and that is very much worthwhile. Is that clear? So whichever subscription you are taking, if you enjoyed this course, if you liked my way of teaching, a positive feedback from your end can be shown with you keying in the code APUS. Is that very clear? Do not forget keying in the code APUS while subscribing. So do like, share and subscribe with the code APUS. Hope to see you all soon on the Unacademy platform, and hope to see you all tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for the live class session on YouTube. Thank you. This is Arjun Prasad signing off for today. Have a nice day, guys. Thanks.